We're still working on 6-digit numbers, guys. This time we're looking at rounding. So before we start looking at one of the big kahuna numbers, let's focus on the basics. Remember, when we round, let's say we're working on numbers between 0 and 10, and we said just round it off to the nearest number. If we have a 1, a 2, a 3, or a 4, it's closest for us to round that back down to 0. If we've got a 5, 6, 7, 8, or 9, we're going to round that up to 10 every time. That's just one of those rules for how to round to the nearest 10. Now you can round off in a number of different ways. So I want to pick one 6-digit number and show you how many different ways that we can round it off. So the number I've chosen is 376,345. Let's say you're asked to round it to the nearest 100,000. That means you need to have a digit in your 100,000s place followed by all zeros, because we're rounding to the nearest 100,000. So 376,345. In terms of 100,000s, it sits between 300,000 and 400,000, because that's the next highest 100,000. Now you need to ask yourself, which one is this number closest to? Is it closest to 400,000 or 300,000? And the answer can be found just by looking at that 10,000s place. Because there's a 7 there, that means we're going to round up, which means that 376,345 is in fact closest to 400,000. So if we were rounding to the nearest 100,000, our answer would be 400,000. If you're asked to round this number to the nearest 10,000, we do the exact same thing. We figure out what it could be. So 376,345, its closest 10,000 could be 370,000, or it could be 380,000. The only thing I'm changing here is the 10,000s place. So 376,000, which one is it closest to? Well, if you look to the next place value down, you'll find that there is a 6 in the thousands. A 6 we always round up. So in this case, 376,345 rounded to the nearest 10,000 would be 380,000. Now I've been asked to round this number to my nearest 100. So you need to look at the hundreds place value. That's the one that'll be the last place value that has a number in it followed by zeros. So in this case, this number sits between 376,000 and 377,000. And because in my next place value in my hundreds there's a 3, that means we're going to round down, which means that 376,345 is closest to 376,000. So that's the answer rounded to my nearest 1,000. With 6-digit numbers as well, you might be asked to round to the nearest 100, maybe the nearest 10, and the rule stays the same. You just need to work out what it sits between and round to the nearest. With a big number like a 6-digit number, you're probably not going to be asked to round all the way down to there, but if you are, just stick with it. The rules are fairly simple. I'm going to write up 3 little numbers here. And let's do this one. I would like you to pause your video here and see if you can round all 3 of these to your nearest 100,000. I'm going to flash the answer up on the screen in a second. So pause it now, see how you go with those 3 as a test. So 571,000 rounded to the nearest 100,000 is going to be 600,000 because there's a 7 in my 10,000s place and we round up. 302,000 is obviously a lot closer to 300,000, so that's it rounded to the nearest 100,000. And 432,000 is going to be closest to 400,000. That's rounding to the nearest 100,000. Good luck with rounding, guys. It can be a little bit tricky, but if you take those steps that I showed you, hopefully it makes it a bit easier.